नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकाय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते वेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। We can do chapter 16 verse 40. जितम् अजित तदा भवता यदाह भागवतं धर्ममव अनवद्यं निष्किञ्चनाये मुनया आत्मा रामा यमुपासते पवर्ग्य वर्गया। Unconquerable one, when you spoke about Bhagavata Dharma, which is the uncontaminated religious system for achieving the shelter of your lotus feet, that was your victory. Persons who have no material desires, like the Kumaras who are self-pages, worship you to be liberated from material contamination. In other words, they accept the process of Bhagavata Dharma to achieve shelter, lotus feet. Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Anya Vilashita Shunyam, Jnana Karmadhyana Anukulyena Krishnanushīlanam Bhaktiruttama. One should render transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord Krishna favorably and without desires for material profit or gain through fruitive activities or philosophical speculation. That is called pure devotional service. And also Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu says pure devotional service is Sri Krishna Akarshini. It attracts Krishna. Mm. And Mishra Bhakti doesn't attract Krishna. The Narada Pancharatra also says Sarvopadhi Vinirmuktam Tat Paratvena Nirmalam Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchyate. One should be free from all material designations. Sarva Upadhi Vinirmuktam, free. Tat Paratvena Nirmalam, and cleansed of all material contamination. See, when we become free from material designations, naturally we become cleansed of all material contamination. Which means that we are thinking we are something of this material world. We belong to this material world. We are such and such a person. We have this position. And with that thought process, with that mindset, comes attachment, aversion, raga, bhaya, krodha, all these things. So once we become free from material designations, which means that we understand that I'm spirit soul, I'm not this body, then I become cleansed from all that material contamination, which is kama, krodha, moha, mada, matsarya. He should be restored to his pure identity, in which he engages his senses in the service of the proprietor of the senses, Rishi Kena, Rishi Kesha. That is called devotional service. So it is here even more clear that one should be free from material contamination. Right? And that should be achieved. This is that Brahmabhuta that we are talking about. So it's a important milestone on our path of progress, and we should try to achieve it. This is also called Bhagavata Dharma. Actually, one more thing comes to my mind when we say achieve it. We want to achieve things materially, but we don't want to achieve things spiritually. Of course, achieving things spiritually doesn't mean that it's in our hands, but it is the desire to progress. It's the desire to get somewhere. It's a desire to have some milestones. People have milestones in their material life, right? I want to achieve this. After that, I want to achieve this, and so on and so forth, right? It could be something like, okay, I want to get 10% increment every year, or I want to buy a house in next 5 years. Something, right? Everybody has some goals that they're running behind materially. Spiritually, also, we need to have goals. And we need to work towards achieving them. Spiritual life is not best effort, meaning, okay, I will try, whatever is possible will happen. Rest is okay. That's not the approach. The approach is that we have to go behind the devotion. We have to go behind. We have to, run behind it. Only then we can do something. Because it's not easy. I mean, the goal that we are trying to achieve here is possibly the toughest. Giving Krishna is the toughest. Like I was saying yesterday, it's even tougher than achieving Vishnu or Narayana in Vaikuntha. He's achieving Krishna. So we need to put so much more effort. We need to be focused. We need to be determined. Whatever adjectives you would use or adverbs you would use to describe your effort in on the material platform, everything and 10 times, 100 times more effort is required, more focus. But it's also called Bhagavata Dharma. Without material aspirations, one should simply serve Krishna, as advised in Bhagavad Gita, Narada Pancharatra, and Srimad Bhagavatam. The simple truth, difficult to understand. Most people actually. And when we don't say this, people come in thousands. When we say, don't come to Krishna for material aspirations, suddenly then people hesitate because they think that coming to God is for fulfilling their needs, their desires. Now you're saying, don't ask anything from Krishna. So then they become discouraged, they become disinterested. But we should understand that this is what actually Srila Prabhupada came to give. So this ISKCON is for pure devotion, not for mixed devotion, not for casual devotion, not for anything else. But today, in some sense, the current devotees who are, driving the direction of fun, be leaders at different levels, etc., etc. They somehow differ from this in the sense they say, no, 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 we should give this to everybody. Of course, we should give this to everybody. Prabhupada wanted to give it to everybody, but he wanted to give pure devotion to everybody. So it's tougher. See, giving pure devotion to more people is tougher because they will not accept. Then they will go away. Then preachers will get discouraged. Then they'll say, no, no, no. See, I'm putting so much effort. People are coming and going. So maybe I'll dilute a little bit. But that's not what Prabhupada wants. It's okay. We can go behind more people, but we should also give the substance, the real thing that Prabhupada wanted to give. Of course, we can be judicious about when we will give them. It's not that on day one we start hammering these things. Yeah, slowly they are coming regularly, etc. Then they should hear this, and they should also hear the fact that Krishna anyway takes care of the material requirements of devotees. Not that we will be left forlorn, right? Nobody to take care, nobody to go to. No, Krishna is the most powerful. Krishna is all powerful. Is the proprietor of everything. And Krishna is giving his word in Bhagavad Gita saying, I will take care of you, don't worry. So we have to teach people that saying that don't have material aspirations. Whatever you need in life, Krishna will provide. Don't worry. Don't worry. If you become greedy, if you want more than what you deserve, then you will anyway become implicated and you will suffer because of that. Better than that, just leave it to Krishna. Krishna will take care of it. Whatever he needs to give you, he will give you. In fact, Prabhupada writes elsewhere also, saying that material prosperity follows spiritual prosperity. It will follow. We don't have to run behind it. It will automatically come with bhakti. So we have to just serve simply to please Krishna. That's the idea. Bhagavata Dharma is the process of religion enunciated by pure devotees, direct representatives of the Supreme Personality of Godhead like Narada, Shukadeva Goswami, and their humble friends in the discipline. By understanding Bhagavata Dharma, one immediately becomes free from material contamination. See, by understanding, Prabhupada is saying, by understanding only one immediately becomes free. Meaning the path of Bhagavata Dharma is pure devotion. Immediately we become free from contamination. Living entities who are part and parcel of the Supreme Person of Godhead are loitering in this material world, suffering. Just imagine this sentence. Somebody is loitering on the street, suffering. What a sorry picture. He is loitering on the street. He is not he's not going. He's some uh, suffering some from health condition, and instead of going to the doctor, he's loitering in the street and he's suffering. This is our condition. We are loitering in this material world and we are suffering, but we don't want to get to our solution, which is going to actually stop this suffering. When they're instructed with Lord himself about Bhagavata Dharma and they adopt it, that is victory for the Lord, for he then reclaims these fallen souls. So we're actually, working for Krishna to reclaim fallen souls. A devotee following the principles of Bhagavata Dharma feels very much obligated. See, obligated. We have to feel obligated to Krishna. Because all these so many fallen souls are there to be reclaimed. He can understand the difference between life without Bhagavata Dharma and life with Bhagavata Dharma, and thus he remains obliged to the Lord. Ever obliged. All for having given, accepted us, we should be obliged. And then that we work for fulfilling his desire to reclaim all fallen. We remain obligated. Taking to Krishna consciousness and bringing fallen souls to Krishna consciousness is victory for Lord Krishna. It's not victory for us. It's victory for Lord Krishna. Paro dharmo yato bhakti radhokchade ahaitukya pratyahataya sati. And only by this unmotivated, uninterrupted devotional service, one self is actually satisfied. Prasidati. Prasidati. Prasidati means pleased or satisfied. Prasidati. There's no other way. It has to be unmotivated and uninterrupted. Uninterrupted means this marathon. So think about marathon as uninterrupted. And I was telling yesterday, some devotee saying that there are 3 stages in devotional service, in chanting Hare Krishna. The first stage is when we are chanting Hare Krishna and our mind is all over the place, right? And mostly involved in material things. A lot of material thoughts come into our mind. That is the fallen state, completely fallen state. The next state is when we seriously participate in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement. When we are chanting, instead of the mind going to material things, the mind will go to activities of teaching mission. So devotees are so anxious. They want to distribute more and more books. Then day in, day out, they're just thinking about it. Where shall I go? Yesterday I went there. So many books only got distributed. Tomorrow, where should I go? What else can I do? How else can I distribute this mercy? Of course, one is they might have their own, they might be self-inspired to distribute mercy, or other cases, maybe somebody else is inspired and inspiring them to distribute, and they are deciding to distribute just for pleasing that person, which is also okay. For example, we are doing all this just to please Prabhupada, which is also okay. We might not be as motivated to distribute compassion to people, but it's okay. Thinking that okay, Prabhupada wants this, or our Guru wants this, and doing that is the second stage. When our mind is not going towards material things, our mind is completely fixed in thinking about distributing this mercy. I know so many of our devotees now for since October, since Kartik, they've been busy. Day in, day out, they've been busy. Kartik, they were busy getting devotees, getting people to do Dipdan. And then we also distributed small books, some other books. So they were busy with that. And now they're busy with distributing other books. And so they're busy with distributing mercy. Then what will go on in their chanting is only these thoughts. And this has to continue. This has to remain like this throughout the year. That means we have gone to the next stage. Right? And the third stage is when we move from even this to just simply being fixed on Radha and Krishna. It could be both also, because This is non-different from Radha and Krishna because this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. So thinking about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission, thinking about Radha Krishna, both are on the same platform. But still, we might think about Radha and Krishna and their pastimes in Goloka, etc., which is the next stage possibly. But just moving from this material thinking about material things to just thinking about the mercy distribution is a tremendous progress. But we should understand it has to remain fixed. Our consciousness has to remain fixed in that, not on our material work, our material anxieties, this and all that. Then we have made progress. So then it becomes uninterrupted because even when you are at home or you are just, you're just simply thinking all the time, okay, how can I do this? How can I do this? I do this. And those who are not able to go, they're also thinking, how can I go? How can I go? How can I go? That's also meditation on Krishna. Because it's Krishna's work. See, Krishna is saying we are obligated, right? So thinking about how we can serve Krishna to reclaim fallen souls, because he thinks that it is his job in some sense. Mm. Because it's his victory. So thinking about that is also Krishna consciousness. And only that will completely satisfy the self. We won't be bothered whether we got prasadam, we didn't get prasadam, whatever. We're just thinking, okay, this is done. Okay, next where? Next what? We have to be absorbed like this. And ideally, like I said, this should be 365 days a year, not 1 month. But at least, I'm very happy that devotees are at least taken this up for 1 month to be completely, drowned in this whole mercy distribution process. And we should do. We should do. And it pleases Srila Prabhupada so much, so much. We'll get special mercy for this. We get special mercy. And whoever is going out, they'll get special mercy. Simple. We don't have to do it for anything else. We can be selfish also in this. We want to get mercy. And when we get mercy, we'll make more progress. So good for us. Therefore, Srimad Bhagavatam is a pure transcendental process of religion. So this is Bhagavata Dharma. Srimad Bhagavatam is Bhagavata Dharma. So that is a pure transcendental process of religion. विषममतिर्न यत्र नृणां त्वमहम् इति मम तवेति च यद् अन्यत्र विषमधिया रचितो यः सश्च विशुद्ध वैष्णुरधर्मबहुलः. Being full of contradictions, all forms of religion but Bhagavata Dharma work under conceptions of fruitive results and distinction of you and I and yours and mine. All other forms of religion, they're just under the conceptions of fruitive results, that's all. The followers of Srimad Bhagavatam have no such consciousness. So if we are following Srimad Bhagavatam, how do we follow Srimad Bhagavatam? By regularly hearing it, by regularly reading it, by regularly thinking about it. We will not come to this day. We will go away from this stage of doing things for fruitive results and thinking in distinction in terms of you and I, yours and mine. Those who follow Srimad Bhagavatam, they're all Krishna conscious, thinking that they're Krishna's and Krishna is theirs. There are other low-class religious systems which are contemplated for the killing of enemies or the gain of mystic power. And tantras, mantras, some magic. Such religious systems, being full of passion and envy, are impure and temporary. So they're also religious systems, but they are for the people who are in the lower modes. They're impure and temporary. The idea of these religious systems is to gradually bring those people to higher platforms. Because they're full of envy, they're full of irreligion. Though it's called religious system, it is irreligion. Bhagavad Dharma has no contradictions. Conceptions of your religion and my religion are completely absent from Bhagavata Dharma. Bhagavata Dharma means following the orders given by the Supreme Lord Bhagavan, stated in the Bhagavad Gita. Dharma anparityaja mamekam sharanam vraja. God is one and God is for everyone. One and God is for everyone. Therefore, everyone must surrender to God. That is a pure conception of religion. Whatever God orders constitutes religion. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranit. In Bhagavata Dharma, there's no question of what you believe and what I believe. Everyone must believe in the Supreme Lord and carry out his orders. Anukulyena Krishnanusyeshi. Whatever Krishna says, whatever God says, should be directly carried out. That's dharma. Look at this. If one is actually Krishna conscious, he cannot have enemies. Mm. And today, even amongst devotees, we see this envy, enmity. I don't like him. He doesn't like me. So, which means that if we are engaged in such things, we are actually not Krishna conscious. Mm. We are in the process, but we are not actually Krishna conscious. Since his only engagement is to induce others to surrender to Krishna or God, how can he have enemies? If one is actually Krishna conscious, what is his job? Is to surrender first and to induce others to surrender to Krishna. So he doesn't have any other engagement at all. So how can there be enemies when you're trying to help others to surrender to Krishna? It's just means that we're actually not Krishna conscious. We're not engaged in this activity to induce others to surrender to Krishna. So we see others as friends and or enemies. And we also see sometimes there are devotee groups, which also is very strange. Mm. Why should there be groups? Which means that because you don't like something or somebody, there are groups. Mm. Well, all this is not actual Krishna consciousness. There are lower standards, and it's okay. Initially, we might be in those stages, but we should advance. We should move ahead. We should make progress. And see everybody as a Vaishnava, and serve them, respect and serve them. If one advocates the Hindu religion, the Muslim religion, Christian religion, this religion, that religion, there will be conflicts. And so Krishna consciousness is not a Hindu religion. We should remember this. History shows that the followers of religious systems without a clear conception of God have fought with one another. There are many instances of this in human history, but systems of religion that do not concentrate upon the service to the Supreme and cannot last for long because they are full of envy. There are many activities directed against such religious systems, and therefore one must give up the idea of my belief and your belief. Everyone should believe in God and surrender unto Him. This is Bhagavata Dharma. Finally, one has to come to this platform. He might be at some other lower dharmas, which is okay. Like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, don't discourage them, but somehow engage them in bhakti. Somehow engage them in bhakti. That is Bhagavata Dharma. Bhagavata Dharma is not a concocted sectarian belief. Concocted means somebody just thought of something innovative, something new. And it's not sectarian, meaning it doesn't belong to any religion. For it entails research to find how everything is connected with Krishna. Prabhupada is saying it's not some belief, it's a science. Because it entails research. Avasyam idam sarvam. According to the Vedic injunction, sarvam kalvidam Brahma. Brahman, the Supreme, is present in everything. Bhagavad Dharma captures this presence of the Supreme. Bhagavad Dharma does not consider everything in the world to be false. Because everything emanates from the Supreme, nothing can be false. Everything has some use in the service of the Supreme. For example, we are now dictating into a microphone and recording on a dictating machine. And thus we are finding how the machine can be connected to the Supreme Brahman. Since we are using this machine in the service of the Lord, it is Brahman. That is the meaning of Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. Everything is Brahman because everything can be used for the service of the Supreme Lord. Nothing is mithya, false. Everything is factual. Bhagavad Dharma is called Sarvotkrishta, best of all religious systems, because those who follow Bhagavad Dharma are not envious of anyone. Pure Bhagavatas, pure devotees invite everyone without envy to join the Krishna consciousness movement. A devotee is therefore exactly like the Supreme Person of Godhead. Surudam Sarvabhutanam is a friend of all living entities. Therefore, this is the best of all religious systems. Whereas so-called religions are meant for a particular type of person who believes in a particular way, such discrimination has no place in Krishna consciousness or Bhagavatam. We scrutinize the religious systems meant for worship of demigods or anyone else but the Supreme Person of Godhead. We'll find that they are full of envy and therefore impure. Hmm. So, very, very nice, long purport on Bhagavata Dharma. Kakshemo nijaparayo kiyanvarthasva paradruha dharmena tadroha tava kopaha parasampidaya chatata dharmaha. How can a religious system that produces envy of oneself and of others be beneficial for oneself and for them? What is auspicious about following such a system? What is actually to be gained? By causing pain to one's own self due to self envy, and by causing pain to others, one arouses your anger and practices irreligion. So, uh, saying that if somebody practices some form of religious system, produces self envy and causes pain to others, one arouses in the anger of the Supreme Lord, and it is actually practicing adharma. Hmm. Any religious system, but the process of Bhagavata Dharma, service as an eternal servant of the Supreme Person of Godhead, is a system of envy of one's own self and of others. It is clear it is envy of one's own self because we don't have self interest. Nate vidu swartha gatim Vishnu. Following Bhagavata Dharma is swartha, is one's interest, and not following it is literally envy of one's own self, meaning we don't want to give good, the best to us. And others also. For example, there are many systems of religion in which animal sacrifices are recommended. Such animal sacrifices are inauspicious, both for the performer and for the animal. Although one is sometimes permitted to sacrifice an animal before Goddess Kali and eat it instead of using meat from a slaughterhouse, permission to eat meat after a sacrifice in the presence of the Goddess Kali is not the order of the Supreme Person of Godhead. It is simply a concession for the miserable person who will not give up eating meat. It is meant to restrict his desire for unrestricted meat eating. Such a religious system is condemned. Therefore, Krishna says, Sarvadharman Parityaja, give up all other duties and surrender me. That is the last word in religion, meaning there's nothing else beyond this. End of religion. The last word is to surrender to Krishna. That is the last word. And people have to slowly get to this last word. They're all at different stages in the book, and they have to come to the last word. One may argue that the sacrifice of animals is recommended in the Vedas. This recommendation, however, is a restriction. Without Vedic restrictions on the purchase of meat, people will purchase meat from the market, which will be overflooded with meat shops, and slaughterhouses will increase. To restrict this, sometimes the Vedas say that one may eat meat after sacrificing an insignificant animal like a goat before. In any case, a system of religion in which animal sacrifices are recommended is inauspicious for those who perform the sacrifices and for the animals. Envious persons who perform ostentatious animal sacrifices are condemned in the Bhagavad Gita. Atma sambhavitas tamana madanvitaha yajante nama yagnaiste dambena vidhi purvakam avidhi purvakam dambena avidhi purvakam. Self-complacent and always impudent, deluded by wealth and false prestige. They sometimes perform sacrifices in name only without following any rules or regulations. Sometimes animal sacrifices are performed very gorgeously with grand arrangements for worshipping goddess Kali. But such festivals, although performed in the name of yagna, are not actually yagna. What yagna means to satisfy the Supreme Person of Godhead. Yagnai Sankirtana Praya Yajanti Sumedasaha. So one Vishnu Krishna chanting Hare Krishna. Envious persons, however, are condemned by the Supreme Lord. Ankaram, balam, darpam, kamam, krodam, cha samshritaha, mam atma paradeheshu pradvishanto bhayasuya bhayasuyakaha. Anaham dvishatah kruran samsareshu naradhaman kipamyajasram ashubham masureshva eva vayunishu. So Krishna is saying, bewildered by false ego, strength, pride, lust, and anger. See, look at this false ego, strength, pride, lust, and anger. The demon becomes envious of the Supreme Lord, who is situated in his own body and in the bodies of others, blasphemes against the real religion. Those who are envious and mischievous, who are the lowest among men, are cast by me into the ocean of material existence, into various demoniac of life. Of course, cast by me means Krishna is not saying that he's enviously pushing them. It's just for their own welfare. They have to come into this because they want to be demoniac. They are given chance to be born in demoniac species, and then slowly, through various sufferings, etc., they will come to rectification. It is mercy that also. These persons are condemned by the Supreme Personality of Godhead as indicated by the words Tava Kopaha. A person who commits murder is envious of himself and also the person he has killed. For the result of committing murder is that he will be arrested and hanged. One transgresses the laws of a man-made government, he may escape being killed by the state, but one cannot escape the laws of. The killer of any animal must be killed in his next life by the same animal. Mam saha, it means mam saha, meaning it's an agreement saying that next life you kill me. I'm killing you this life, next life you. This is the law of nature. One must follow the instructions of the Supreme Lord. Again, Prabhupada is. One follows any other system of religion, he's subject to punishment. Many different. Therefore, if one follows a concocted system of religion, he is envious not only of others but also of himself. Consequently, his system of religion is useless. Dharmas vanushtita pumsan vishwaksena katasuya notpadayed yadiratim shamaya vahi kevalam. Many people are busy working, but if their duties, if their work, if it does not provoke attraction for the message of the Lord, provoke attraction for the message of the Lord. Meaning, if they don't want to do Shravanam, if they don't have time for Shravanam, then it's useless labor. And Prabhupada is translating, regardless of occupation, whatever one might be doing. If it does not provoke attraction for the message of the Lord, then it is useless labor. Following a system of religion that does not awaken one's Krishna consciousness is merely a waste of time and labor, simply put. A system of religion, which might just be work, 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 is somebody's system of religion. Work is worship, somebody's system of religion. Or it might be something else. But at the start, as long as it doesn't awaken Krishna consciousness, merely is merely a waste of time and labor. And definitely devotees should not engage in such activities which are waste of time and labor. Work has to be done, yes, it has to take care. We are living in this material world, we need maintenance. So for maintenance, we might do required things. But it's not the sole focus and it should not consume our consciousness. It should awaken our real our real consciousness, Krishna consciousness, instead of consuming our consciousness in that work that we are trying to do. Of course, if that work is directly for Krishna, then it's glorious. Or if that work is being done and the results are being used very nicely in Krishna service, that's also fine. But if it is just for our own sense gratification, consuming our consciousness by that occupation, it's not good because it will not awaken. And very clearly, this verse is saying, Prabhupada is saying that for the message, meaning Shravanam, if it doesn't provoke attraction for Shravanam, because without Shravanam, we can't become attracted. We can't become attracted. We can't develop this rati for Krishna. And so Shravanam is the basis. So he's saying it should be attraction for the message of the Lord. Shamaye vahi kevalam. Okay, I think we'll stop. Second one. Any questions? Any thoughts? Anything? All okay? Okay, I will close here. Ki jai Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Oh, by the way, so today is Gita Jayanti. Here ends day of Bhagavad Gita. So, yeah, everybody should try and read Bhagavad Gita. And you can also, it'll be glorious if you can distribute Prabhupada's books to other jivas and benefit them on this very glorious day. It's one thing to just get together and read, chant Bhagavad Gita verses, but it's more, our acharyas, Prabhupada, our acharyas will be more pleased actually if you go out and distribute. So kindly see if you can, engage in this activity. I know many devotees are going out, but or not, somehow, maybe call some friend and just, gift him or her Bhagavad Gita, at least something on this day. Thank you all for joining. Vanta kalpatarubhyashta kripasindhubhya patitana. Namo namaha. The Koti Vaishnava. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.